Hi, welcome to How to Repair. This is yet another video in my series on built-in obsolescence and a completely different fault this time than normal. This is a Hotpoint and it's an NSWF 742, I believe that's a BS-UKN. Now this machine, according to the date code on this machine, was manufactured 2020. Now it's not totally the fault of the manufacturer. There is a bit of customer blame here. I actually pick up lorry loads of machines to dismantle for spare parts and also expose the washing machine industry for what they're doing with regards built-in obsolescence. Now this washing machine I have already put through a complete test cycle and testing all the components on the machine, and it is working perfectly. The drum bearings and spider are still in perfect condition. But the problem with this machine is all the drum paddles have been knocked off. Now I suspect that the customer was washing something like trainers or maybe a heavy item in the drum and it broke the drum paddles off. Now I've done a complete disassembly video on these types of machines for you, which you can find on the YouTube channel. And this is the drum that I took off the machine. And here are the drum paddles. Now, drum paddles are normally quite easy to change, but because manufacturers are sealing the drum completely and not giving access to the retention lugs, which I'll show you in a minute, on the drum paddles, this customer has actually broken off all the lugs that retain the drum paddles, meaning because of their negligence, they have actually damaged the machine slightly themselves, but this is because there was no procedure shown for how to change the drum paddles correctly. Now I'm going to try and explain to you how to change the drum paddles to make it easier for other people in future, but this is an exceedingly difficult job because the manufacturer has deliberately designed this drum in a way that the drum paddles are not easy to change. I can do them. Many other engineer will tell you, oh, it's only just pushing down the lugs and changing the paddles over, but they have made it exceedingly difficult. And why they have made it exceedingly difficult, if I bring this up to the camera here, this is the retention lug on here. These paddles have already got some broken plastic bits on here because this came out of a collapsed drum. But if you look closely here, there is an actual holding pin that holds the paddle in place. Now, as you can see, there is a metal lug that has to be straightened like that for these paddles to come out. And you see how easy that is if you can get access to this. Now, I'm going to put this back in, and it's quite awkward for me to film off camera. Once the drum paddle's pushed in, then this pin has to be lifted up. But if you don't have access to the drum paddles via either taking the drum out or having a reasonable access hole with the sump hose at the bottom of the drum, how the heck is general public meant to be able to locate this lug to change the paddle? They have gone out of their way to build in obsolescence by making this drum totally unserviceable. Now, as you can see here, all three of the actual paddle lugs have been broken, and I can see that some of these bars are bent and damaged all over the place. And I suspect the customer had a single damaged drum paddle. He may have gone out and bought a pack of 3 drum paddles and went to fit them, not knowing about these lugs, and actually forced the paddles off the drum, therefore breaking the actual lugs. Now, in the old days, when drums could actually be taken out of the outer drum and removed, either to change the bearings or the spider, and as you can see, the spider on the machine that I just did the video on was completely corroded, and that's the reason why that machine was scrapped, and that worked perfectly as well, by the way. But if one of these lugs were broken, by being able to remove the drum, the person would have then been able to work out where the actual locking tabs are for this. And he would have been able to put a small pilot hole into the drum and a stainless steel screw, and that would have held the paddle in place. It can still be done on some rare occasions when you actually tilt the machine backwards and take the sump hose off, but make sure you use a stainless steel screw. And some engineers have different techniques for locking these paddles in place when these tabs break. But I just thought that might be helpful for someone, just in case they have broken the lugs. So the first thing you need to be aware of is you have these small holes at the top. And it's usually the 5th hole back from the front on this model of machine. It used to be on earlier machines the 6th hole, but on this machine it's the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you've got to somehow go down, find that lug, and it's on that side because I can feel the resistance, and I've got to push it down enough, and I'm trying to show you so you can see. So you need to go down, push it down until you think it's flat. You don't want to push it too far. And once you've got it down, that still will not come out because the actual pin has not been pushed far enough back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming down, feeling the metal. I'm going to have to use 2 hands. I apologise because I'm trying to do this for you and film. And I'm not too sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that felt a bit looser then. There you go. So that now can be lifted away. And you can see where I've bent the drum paddle down. Now, if this was a new paddle, and as I said, this is the common faults that occur with these paddles. You can see one lug there is good, 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 broken, broken. Now, when you end up with a new drum paddle, you would put it down, put it into place, slide it along. But how is general public meant to get something down here and hook that back up? And I'll explain now how you can do this. Okay, if I turn the drum around and try and explain this correctly, you can actually see the location lug here. Now I use a device which is a hook nose screwdriver. Now if I bring that over my black jumper, you can actually see that it's just a shaft which has got a 90-degree bend on it. Now, what you need to do is very carefully go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put the hook nose through the hole, and then you need to get it like this. I hope you can see this correctly on camera. And then carefully, you are going to have to pull that peg down. Once it is down and at a 90-degree angle, it will be locking the paddle in place. The only other way that you're going to get access to this actual location is if you empty the machine of water, disconnect it from the electricity supply, tilt the machine backwards, remove the sump hose, you can get access via the rear of the, or the bottom of the machine. It is really, really a difficult job. And a lot of engineers, you know, have to do this on a daily basis because these plastic paddles do break on many occasions. But the manufacturer is not making it easy in any way, shape or form. I hope this video really helped you. Now, what I'm doing is putting a whole toolbox together on the website with all the most common tools that I use. And these screwdrivers are normally only somewhere in the region of between £5, say, somewhere around that plus the postage. But they do come in a kit form as well, which has multiple different types of ends, which are very, very useful. And I'll also include some of the electrical devices and everything else I use for testing. But the real point of this video is how manufacturers are building obsolescence into every corner of this industry. This machine is only just over 4 years old and it is going to the landfill because of a simple fault like the drum paddles. When those paddles broke, I can promise you those lugs were still perfectly intact. It is only down to the customer who didn't not know how to fit those lugs or the actual paddles into place and therefore broke the lugs, making the machine a complete write-off. But If the drum was splittable, he may have even been able to replace the inner drum if they sold it as a separate component. The problem being is the manufacturer do not sell it as a separate component. They only want to sell the whole drum. And when the drums are in excess of £200 to £300, what they are doing is building in obsolescence, and this needs to change. Thank you very much indeed for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Any of the spare parts off this machine I will be listing on the website, which may help other people in future. And please remember to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and if I've really helped you, remember you can always click on the Bipolar Beer page and donate to the website. Thanks very much indeed for watching.